Well, good morning in that. And how is everybody today? It's your buddy SaleenDriver, or if you know me by my first name, Dane, it's your buddy Dane here. Hang on a minute. Make a little refresh here. There we go. Know me by my first. Get rid of that. The usual messing around with the windows to get them just the way I like them. Sad part is you can't mess around with the windows until you're actually live. And then you look like an idiot because you're looking over here, and you're not looking at the camera, which is right there. My buddy Tennessee Mike is here, and Rise Up is here. How you doing today? What is going on? Mercy. Another Wednesday afternoon live with SaleenDriver. That's me. Or in today's case, SHO driver. That was the car I had before I bought the Saleen, my Taurus SHO. That was a fantastic car. I wish I still had that car. Other than the valve adjustments you had to do every 60,000 miles, that car was bulletproof. So how is everybody today? My friend Ken Spear is here, checking in from Pittsburgh as usual. Hopefully, Ken, you got to read that reply I gave you to your comment on my video today, and hopefully that was relatively clear to you on how shit is supposed to work with shipping from Zelos. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of grief lately. Is it, no, it's pronounced Zelos, or no, it's Zelos. At least as far as I'm concerned, it's Zelos. I don't really want to get into how it's pronounced or not. William Rizzo is here. How you doing? Let's see. What do we talk about today? Well, for the okay, you did, Ken. Good, that's good. I'm glad you that was good for you. Let's see, a couple of things. If you're a watch guy, perhaps you've noticed if you're on the mailing list that Zelos announced yesterday that starting tomorrow, that would be the 24th of September, for me anyway, right about 1 p.m. Eastern time, Zelos is going to introduce another one of their titanium Damascus watches, or Timascus as they're known as well. Actually going to do two different versions of Timascus, the blue heat treated and the yellow treated titanium Damascus. That's basically a watch case that's made out of titanium Damascus metal, which Damascus is the, if I remember correctly from all those TV programs I watched, is a way of folding and forging metal. I think it was Forged in Fire was the TV show I'm thinking of. It's a way of forging metal and folding it and, refolding it and hammering it and heat treating it and all kinds of stuff I don't know anything about, that creates wave patterns in the metal. That pattern is called a Damascus pattern. I don't know where the name derives from. Maybe it's derived from the fact that I don't know if it's a fact or not, but maybe it's derived from the technique was created in Damascus, Syria. I don't know. But all I know is it's a beautiful pattern and a beautiful heat treat. And I've been waiting for these titanium Damascus swordfish to be announced and released, and it looks like it's finally going to happen. And I'm gonna go get one of those, and my father's gonna go get one of those, or at least we're gonna try. There's a very, very limited release on those watches, so we're going to do our best tomorrow to jump on that. On TikTok, no longer existing TikTok, Chess Hall is here, calling me grandpa again. Well, what do you want, you youngster, you young whippersnapper? Get off my lawn. Anyway, yeah, the gold meteorite, Mike, the gold meteorite looks really, really good. I'm just not as enthused about the gold or yellow toned case as I am the blue one. So I'm going after a blue black sand face, and my father's going after a blue with the meteorite. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe we both get shut out. I don't know. Just because I got the nickname Mr. Zelos doesn't mean I'm guaranteed to watch. Well, I appreciate that, Chess. I appreciate your support, of course. The thing that's happening this week, although it's towards the end of the week, is for my football friends, is finally the Southeastern Conference is going to start playing. Finally, we get big boy football instead of this Mickey Mouse shit we've been putting up with. And yes, I consider the Big 12 and the ACC as Mickey Mouse football. They're not playing big boy football in those conferences, and it's obvious by watching the games. I mean, in the ACC, you've got Clemson up here, and then everybody else down here and below. The entire conference, top to bottom, except for Clemson, is pure trash. Big 12, well, you're not playing defense worth a damn. You ring up points like it's a video game, but when it comes to stopping the other team, you're about as useful as a piece of wet paper put in front of a charging bull. So it's not good football. I mean, it's football. It's college football. I mean, considering how close we came to having no football at all because of the Wuhan Red Death, any football is better than none. But we're going to get the good stuff starting this weekend. We got 7 games. It's SEC versus SEC. It's diamond cutting diamond for the entire season in the Southeastern Conference. So, you've got your disaster teams like Vanderbilt and Arkansas and South Carolina and Mizzou. I mean, you got your bottom feeders in the bottom 4 there. They're all arguing over who's the worst. So far, I think Arkansas is leading the pack. And then you got the middle ground, your A&Ms, your Tennessees, your Kentuckys, your Mississippi State, and then you got the top end guys, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. I put Auburn in the upper middle. Kentucky is in the middle. You go through you guys all know, all the SEC folks know who's the top dogs and who isn't. And yes, I'm going to put Florida in the top dog category until somebody proves me wrong. We might drop a game here and there. I honestly don't think anyone in the SEC is going to go undefeated this year. The only team that I think has the opportunity to go undefeated this year in the West is Alabama, and overall Alabama. Georgia and Florida have their shots, but then again, they play each other, and somebody's got to lose that game. I think it's going to be Georgia. My buddy Chess Hall here will think it's Florida. My friend Uncle Lou will think it's Florida. My friend BVD, if you're watching this now or later, shout out to you, sir. Get well soon. And remember the old adage. My father, who was a doctor or was retired, the old adage, let yourself be sick so you can get better. Don't push. And particularly after what you've just been through, don't push yourself Let yourself heal in the proper time. There's no need to rush a recovery. You'll be fine. I'm glad you made it through to the other side of what you went through. As my friend, I don't like to see my friends suffering like that. Let's see. Ken says, did you see that Notre Dame had to postpone this weekend due to beer flu? I did not. No, I didn't. I actually, I've been busy this morning. I haven't had a chance to see any news, either news or sports news. So I didn't see that. If that's true, that's pretty bad. I have a feeling that's going to happen quite a bit, unfortunately. William Rizzo, my wife gets the wine flu every. Oh well, you know my ex-wife. I mean, you know she enjoyed her glass of wine, pretty much every night. She had a glass of wine. I don't know if she still does that. She and I don't speak, so I don't know what her nightly habits are. Maybe she's graduated back to tequila for all I know. But yeah, it does seem that the older the ladies get, the more they enjoy their glass of wine in the evening, especially if they're moms too. But I don't know anything about that, so none of my business. My parents are doing well. I just saw them yesterday. Probably see them again today. They're doing all right. Just one day after another. Every day above ground is a good day. Let's see how many people we got in here. Got 8 people. I got 8 thumbs up, so I appreciate that. I do. Just mention real quick, in addition to doing the thumbs up, which is definitely a big help, we have the super chat available down there somewhere over, I don't know where. And in the description, I've put in a PayPal link in case you guys want to do that. Of course, no obligation to do so. Certainly don't think any less of somebody who doesn't do it. I mean, it's, if you do, I love it. If you don't, still love you having you here. I'm always happy to have folks here. Ken says he thinks it's going to be harder to keep the college kids social. Well, of course. I mean, college kids, in that 18 to 22, 23-year-old, 24 and 25 for the graduate students, they're indestructible at that age. They have no sense of their own mortality because they're young, they're strong, they have all their hormones working. I mean, someone at my age at this point has long since learned about their mortality in more ways than they care to think about. In my case, it was several car accidents. Over the years, and just a few years ago, falling on my staircase and blasting my ankle apart in 2 places, which could have very easily transitioned into rolling down the stairs and breaking my neck. So I still drive fast, but I don't drive as fast as I used to. I still do some things that are probably not as smart as they should be, but far less of them. But yeah, the kids don't understand their own mortality, and they're gonna do what they do. But in their defense, if you look at the statistics, and I know if I say this on other channels, I'm going to get ripped for it, but hey, this is my channel. If you look at the statistics of who's getting the disease and who's dying from it, the younger you are, the better chance you have, assuming you don't have other health challenges. The younger you are, the less chance you have of contracting it. And if you do contract it, the greater chance you have of a full recovery. Now, I am absolutely the last person in the world to say that the Wuhan Red Death is a fake. It is not a fake. I have too many friends who've gotten the disease. I don't know anyone personally who has died from it, but I have half a dozen friends who have contracted it and recovered, but unfortunately the recovery wasn't 100%. Folks that are on here right now may know our friend Melissa May, who had the disease. God bless her, she recovered from it, but she herself has said that she has lingering effects from it. This is a respiratory disease after all. It can damage your lungs. Lungs are not made out of iron and steel. They can be damaged, and they can be damaged permanently. So this is not a fake. People should be doing what they should be doing to prevent getting it. But as you say, Ken, college kids are going to do what college kids are going to do. And, unless the university wants to adopt Gestapo tactics, and some of them might, considering what happens to free speech on college campuses. If they want to adopt the Gestapo police tactics to maintain, you will wear the mask. You will stay 6 feet apart. And you will show proof that you are healthy. We have ways of making you talk. Yes, but if barring the universities doing that kind of thing, it is what it is, Unless you want to put the rest of the country in lockdown again, which I don't think is going to fly again. I don't know what else you can do. Better get a vaccine. If we don't get a vaccine, we'll never get past this. I have a feeling it's going to be coming sooner rather than later. Of course, then we're going to get into that whole political insanity about, should we take the vaccine or not? You know what? Here's my arm. Hit me. I'm 55 years old and I have health concerns that make me vulnerable. So stick the needle in and push the plunger. I got nothing to lose. Well, I do have something to lose, but, I risk more not taking the vaccine than taking it. So for me, I'm going to take it. End of sermon. Yes. First of all, how you doing, pseudoscientist? $, below the chat bar. That's the super chat button. Ballard, I thought you went live. What are you doing in here? I appreciate you coming in here, but I thought you were on your own stream. But welcome here. Tennessee Mike, yeah, I've heard the same thing. I've also heard from the CDC that if you take the statistics of the people who are listed as having died from this thing, that the numbers are overinflated because they're counting people who died of other causes and had the Wuhan Red Death as a Wuhan Red Death. And if you look at the numbers of people who actually died from just that, they're significantly lower than the numbers that are being reported. But, if you don't trust the CDC, then you're not going to trust that number. But that is an interesting statistic. Let's see. Ken Spears says he has a Laco Type B Flieger. That is a nice one. Did you get the black one or the blue one? I see those watches on Long Island Watch all the time, and they're a really good looking watch. I am on Selena's live. That's nice. I have on a Zelos, of course. I have on my my ZX3. This is the ZX chronograph titanium case with the meteorite face. I'm on day 23 of my different Zelos every day challenge, and this was the watch that I picked for today. Excuse me for a second. There we go. Oops. Yeah. So this is the watch. I'm in the last stages of the challenge that Random Rob gave me, and all the rest of the watches from Yesterday until the end of the challenge on the 30th are all going to be ZX watches. I saved the best for last because of all the lines Zelos does, the ZX is my favorite line. And I own almost all of them. I should say I own almost have one example of each ZX, the ZX1 through 8. I'm only missing the ZX2, and I'm doing something about that right now. So the last watches I'm wearing for the challenge are going to be all ZX. Ken says he's wearing black dial with the Miota movement. Let's see. Dirk is here. How you doing? The Blade Meister. If any of you guys are interested in knives, and I mean the really, really out there knives, not the shit you buy at Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. I'm talking about major league stuff. Go find Dirk Warner's channel and sub him up because he's got some knives on there that'll blow your mind. And he does watch reviews too, and it's a great channel. His video production quality is really, really good. And the knives are really, really interesting. Let's see. What are you saying, Dirk? Hope not taking any vaccine for a long... Oh, nope. I'm sorry. Nope. Dirk's not going to take a vaccine. Not rushing to anything at this point. Way too quick to push out a vaccine. Well, I've heard that argument too, but I think you're in better shape than I am, Dirk, so I understand. Goose Sports is here. Good afternoon to you, sir. Dirk says, thank you. Been doing doing a run of more affordable type knives these days, but got custom stuff coming soon. Well, that's good because I looked up some of the prices of some of the knives you were talking about, and I mean $4,000 for some of these knives. It's like, oh wow, could buy a Rolex for what some of these knives cost. Tennessee Mike says Doxa 300T or new Zelos, which is better? Well, are we talking about the new 300T or more vintagey 300T? And which new Zelos? The new Swordfish Titanium or the new Mako? I mean, there have been two new Zelos come out in the past few weeks. Yeah, Dirk, affordability is very relative. I mean, I'm don't see anything wrong with dropping $1,500 on a Zelos watch, but I probably wouldn't do the same thing on a knife. So, that's me. Okay, so a new Doxa 300T. Okay, and which Zelos are we talking about? The titanium Swordfish. Okay. See, I own two Doxa watches right now myself. An orange professional 1200T and a Caribbean blue 750T GMT. I'd rather have those than pretty much any Doxa. Any Zelos. I think those are superior watches. But I like them best for the look of their bezel, which is that unique to Doxa dive bezel with the dive chart built into it. I still like the newer Doxas, but considering the price of them and the fact that they look a bit more different than the old Doxas did, I'd rather have the Zelos right now. I think the Zelos watches are just as strong as the Zelos in terms of Doxas with respect to water resistance and durability. And, I understand why the Doxas are more expensive. I just can't justify it. I mean, it just doesn't justify for me the price of a Doxa versus the price of a Zelos. So I would put my money on Zelos. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't mind owning one of the new one of the new 300Ts at some point. I think they're a really good looking watch, but if I got to spend my money one way or the other, I'm going to go with Zelos. I think I get just as good a watch, and I get it at a better price point that makes me comfortable. Hey, Floridians here. How you doing, man? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. I hope you don't get in trouble for stopping by while you're at work. I mean, I would feel bad about that. So don't get yourself in trouble, please, sir. Well, what about you, Mike? Which would you go for, the Doxa or the Zelos? I mean, I know you're not a Zelos fanboy like I am, but oh, you're the boss, Floyd. Okay, Floyd. Well, good. You can't fire yourself. That's a good thing. Mr. Kane, Mr. Slim Shady Canes is here. Good afternoon to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. You're not doing this while you're driving, are you? Don't do that. Okay, Mike, you asked the question because you're trying to decide. Well, what are the new Doxas? Well, you know what? I'm going to look that up myself. Hang on, Ken. I'll get back to your thing in a minute here. Watches, Doxa, collection, 300T. Well, okay, I was mistaken there. The 300T still has the same bezel that I'm used to, with the time markers on the inside and the number of feet that you go down on the outside. So that's good. But they're going for what, 1850 to 1900? Yeah. 1850 to 1890, depending on strap type. I mean, again, it's a hell of a watch. Don't doubt me on that. It's a hell of a watch, Mike. I can't argue with that. It really is. But a titanium swordfish, which is about the same size, is what? A quarter of the price of a Doxa? And that's down. I bet most of that's down to the movement. I mean, Swiss movement versus Japanese. I don't know. I personally, I'm obviously heavily into Zelos, and I'm very much a fan, and I guess you could call it a bias. But I'm also a bias of Doxa. At one time, I had 7 of the Doxa subs. I had a Diving Star, I had a Shark Hunter, I had the Aquamarine, or the Teal. I had a Sea Rambler. So I had all of them at one time. And I sold all of them off except for the Caribbean and the Professional, the orange and the blue, or the blue and the orange, respectively. Caribbean is blue. So I am a fan of the Doxa watch, but I am right now not in a position where I want to spend $1,900 on a Swiss-made diver that I'm not going to take diving, when I could spend $350, $400 for a titanium that I'm also not going to take diving because I don't dive. And I can spend $400 on a titanium 300-meter diver from Zelos with better customer service, and pocket the $1,500 for something else. So that's where I'm at. I don't know where you are, but that's where I'm at. I'd be interested to know what you're. Oh, now, okay. Well, come on, Mike. That would have cleared that up a little more. He's talking about the new Damascus, which is $1,500 versus about $1,900 for the Doxa. Okay, now we're more talking apples and apples in a way. I'd still do the Zelos because I already have the Doxa. I have the Doxa and it's a better depth rating. And I've had that thing since 2006. And I think the Damascus is going to hold its value better. It's $400 less expensive. It's going to be much more exclusive. I'd rather do the Damascus. You know, it's still a 300-meter diver versus a 300-meter diver. At that point, the only difference is Swiss movement versus Japanese. And the bezel on the Doxa is a little bit more capable in the fact that it has two scales of each other versus one. But I want a Damascus, so I'm going to buy the Damascus. So that's, again, I'm still with the Zelos. That's where I'm at. But now that you said you were talking about Damascus versus 300T, okay, that makes more sense. So thank you for clearing that up. And Dirk is being funny. How you like is here. Good afternoon to you, sir. Tennessee Mike likes watching me ramble. Oh, thank you so much. You like the chair? Okay, it is a S Racer. I bought it off of Amazon for like $150. I had to put it together. It took 15 minutes. I like it. It's very comfortable. It was a little, I had to put a cushion on the, a little extra cushion on the seat for me because, I don't know. I could probably live without it. But I like it. It's very comfortable. It leans back really good. It even has a recliner function, which is right here. So you can recline the seat back independently of the tilt back. And, it's very comfortable to sit in for a long time because I'm usually in front of this computer for long stretches. So, great chair. Seems to be holding up real well, too. So, I like it. Of course, it's got the blue in it, which is my favorite color. If I could have found one with some orange in it, too, that would have been great. But I like this chair. Yeah. Tennessee Mike wants to know if I didn't have the Doxa, I guess I'd still get the Zelos because I want a Damascus. I already have a Damascus Zelos. I have a ZX7, and that I had to buy down the line after it was released. I got lucky. I was able to find one. And I like the Damascus look. It's not something you see every day. And I missed a couple of other ones. I missed the Hammerhead Damascus. I missed the first Swordfish Damascus, which admittedly, I think there were only 3 of them made, 3 or 4. I like the look that the Damascus has, and that watch is, except for the Omega Speedmaster from the moon to Mars, there is not another watch out there I want more than the Damascus Swordfish, which is being released tomorrow. And I will have one, I hope. So, still, and if I, if I don't get it, life goes on. Maybe I'll get it down the line at a higher price, of course. But if I didn't own the Doxa, I would still be going after the Damascus Swordfish. Is it leather? Floridian wants to know. Yes, it is. It's not that really nice, buttery, soft Italian leather thing, but it is leather. And it's it's plenty soft enough. I mean, in the end, it's an office chair, so I'm not expecting rich Corinthian leather from a Chrysler Cordoba. Which, by the way, if you don't know, there is no such thing as Corinthian leather. It was a marketing thing for Chrysler. They made it up. Mike, you're welcome. I'm more than happy to talk about and give advice about this kind of thing. Not a problem. Let's see. Wow, I got 12 watching and 13 likes. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. So other than Mike, is anyone else going to go after one of the? I think Dirk said he was going to try and go after one of the Damascus Zelo. Which one are you going after, Mike? Are you going after the yellow one or the blue one? And which watch face are you going after? I'm going after a blue with the black sand, and my father is going after a blue with the meteorite. So we're hoping. We're hoping. Oh, sorry, Derek. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. No, I didn't say anything that would decrease Dirk's odds of getting one of the watches. So forget I said it. Just wipe it out of your mind. Disregard. Yes. It's like a judge saying to the jury will disregard the last remarks. Of course they don't, but my whole house smells like paint right now. I'm having some painting done upstairs. I'm downstairs. I'm having one room repainted, and the whole house smells like fresh paint. So it's actually not a bad smell. At least it doesn't give me a headache down here. But you go upstairs and it's like, whoa, you hit a wall. But it's looking good. It just couldn't take that color anymore. My younger daughter's room, she wanted a kind of a light blue, and now she doesn't live here anymore. My house again. So I'm having it repainted back to white, which is where I want it to be. So I don't have to look at that horrid color anymore. I don't know why I agreed to paint that room. Shouldn't have done that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I understand, Mike. You're just you don't just dream. But I'm glad that you are going back to work, sir. I heard about that, and I'm very happy for you about that. Yeah, what happened to you was a bad deal, so I'm glad that's being corrected. Yeah, Dirk, it works in court, so it should work on YouTube. Yeah. Telling people on YouTube to disregard something you just said, that works all the time. Real good. Yeah. Yeah, my comment section would disagree with you on that one, I guarantee. Oh, Gator Zone is here. How you doing? You wanted to drop your first video today, but got a sinus infection. Ugh. I'm sorry about that, Gator Zone. I hope it clears up for you, especially before Saturday, so you can watch the games not being in pain. And I'm sorry about that. Well, I'm subbed up to your channel, so hopefully, and I clicked the bell icon, so hopefully when you drop that video, I'll be alerted. So speaking of dropping a video or something, hang on a minute. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. I'm going to drop the link I'm on StreamYard in case you haven't seen. I'm going to drop the link in here. So if one or two of you guys want to come in and share the camera with me, or share the spotlight, as it were. Come on in, and we can chat about things. So, but if you get out of hand, I'm gonna kick you out. But no, I probably won't do that. But there's a link, so if anyone wants to click that link, they can come on into the yard and join me here on the chat. See what we want to talk about, or not, if you don't want to. You can just type comments in the screen. I'll just keep responding to them. What else is going on out there? You got people at work using me to lounge around. So just don't get caught. That's all. Slim Shady was on here a minute ago. He's a truck driver. I hope he's not typing while he's driving that big rig. That could hurt somebody. Let's see. Let's see. Gator Zone says, thanks. His dad's 60th birthday is Saturday, so I'm kicking for a TV at his house. He and my entire family are Kentucky fans. Oh, boy. Oh, you're not kicking, but jockeying. Okay. Well, bring a baseball bat. Bring a bat and just start swinging it, and I guarantee you one of those TVs will free up real quick. Oh, boy. The only person that shows up in the room is TikTok Chess Hall. Dude, Chess, I'm gonna let you on, but you got to keep your camera off. Do not scare my watch people with you. So either put a shirt on or keep your camera off. Behave yourself, sir.
Oh, I'm always behaved on your channel.
Oh, Barack has a good idea for you, Gator Zone. Put a booger on the remote. Rob F., the word on BVD, the last I heard is he is home now. I think he went home yesterday. I think he's doing okay, but he needs to be careful. I mean, he just went through a big deal, and he needs to heal.
Have you seen it? Have you seen his arm?
Yeah, he sent me a picture of that. And
okay, it's bad.
It's what?
It's bad.
Oh, I thought you said it's back. So hang on.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, there's a big old hole in there.
Pretty much.
So, I would have thought they sutured the damn thing. Oh, Uncle Lou's here. And Slim Shady is now here. He's got a Bucks symbol.
What's wrong
Is
with
that nothing? I didn't know you were a Bucks fan.
Yeah. I'm from Clearwater, so.
Well, yeah, but just because you're from Clearwater doesn't mean you're drinking the Buck Kool-Aid.
It's tough being a Bucks fan, I'll admit it.
Well, I'm not. I was never a Bucks fan, although I was very happy for them in 04 when they was it 04? Yeah, it was 04.
02.
02, sorry. When they won the bowl, yeah. I was very happy for them. Let's see, one of my dad's old partners was a season ticket holder for like ever until he passed away, a couple of years ago. They were big Bucks fans. You got to be a big Bucks fan if you're as old as that guy was, sitting out in the hot sun of Ray J, or before that the Sombrero, in the middle of August or September, October. I mean, around here it doesn't cool off until October, November.
Oh yeah.
But let's see. Wait a minute. My friend Jason is here. How you doing? No, don't worry about being late. Just glad you're here. Uncle Lou has switched over to white Tonto, so that's good. Very excited to make his video debut tomorrow. So that should be a hint of what he was talking about yesterday. White Tano says, I am a big Butts fan. Oh, boy.
God. Razorback fan. You're coming. Oh, God.
Yeah. So Razorback fan has now discovered my channel, which Razorback fan, if you're going to be here, at least make sure you subscribe for me, would you please?
He's just running around trying to bug Chess at this point.
I mean,
well,
you ain't gonna bug me. I know it's gonna be an ass whooping. So
I've been saying this for several months now, several weeks now, since the schedule came out, and it turns out that both Georgia and Florida are going to play Arkansas. And Georgia got them first.
Mm-hmm.
All I ask is, if you're going to beat Felipe LePew up, save something for the Gators.
We will.
Just save us something so that we can bury him under the swamp.
We got you. We'll let you.
Because I need to see him buried under 3rd and Grantham over and over and over and over. And by the time the game ends, I want to be worn out seeing Felipe picking himself up off the turf.
You'll get your wish, sir.
I hope so.
Just don't let him come out and throw for 500 yards, or I will annoy you relentlessly.
He ain't gonna. He'll get his throws, but he ain't gonna throw for 5. He ain't gonna throw for 200. Well, 300. He'll get his numbers, but he ain't gonna beat the Gators in the swamp. That's not happening. Well, now the Bulldogs play him on the road, though, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, they might score 3 points, just to keep the home crowd happy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Canes, you have to do me a favor this weekend, too. You have to beat the Criminals so relentlessly that their coach in quarantine won't want to come out of quarantine.
I've seen a lot of Miami fans try and put up score predictions of 30, 40-point blowout. There just hasn't been many of those in that series, no matter who's up or down.
Look, I've been saying all along, my 3 favorite teams are the Gators, the Harvard Crimson, and who's ever playing against Florida State. So right now, for this week, go Canes. Next week, screw them. Next week, the Canes can get screwed for all I care. But this week, I want to see the Canes beat the snot out of the Criminals.
Well, next week we're playing bye week, so I like our odds.
Oh, okay. Then your bye week is winless. So, where's the game? Florida State?
No, it's in Miami.
Oh, good. Well, at least you don't have to haul yourselves up to that rickety old dump they call a stadium.
Horrible. We got to haul ourselves over to the rickety dump everybody talks about, Hard Rock.
Yeah, but at least it's not that far. And a Hard Rock isn't a bad stadium. It's it isn't on campus. That's all. It is what it is. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the University of Miami campus. It's a small campus.
Oh yeah.
And it's in the middle of of a whole thing where there's no place to develop. I mean, you can't clear enough land on the campus or around the campus of UM and build a stadium. There's no place to put it.
No, there's just not. I mean, there wasn't when they originally built the Orange Bowl. That's why the Orange Bowl was built where it was.
Yeah, my family moved to Miami from Boston in '72. I saw the campus, and there was no place to build back then. It ain't gotten any better.
Hell, if anything, it's gotten worse.
Well, yeah, that part of Coral Gables is sort of slid downhill.
Well, I didn't even mean in that sense. I mean, Coral Gables in itself is a higher class neighborhood, a more expensive neighborhood.
Yeah. Just not that particular spot, but
no.
I mean,
but more and more houses have been built around it, so there's even less space.
Yeah, it's tight in there, and land ain't cheap, and they're not making any more of it. So, you got a stadium, 35, 45-minute drive. So, is what it is. It's better than nothing.
I wanted them to keep the Orange Bowl just because of the history of it. I mean, it was the third or fourth oldest stadium in the country.
Yeah. Chess, what are you doing?
Huh? I was adjusting my headset. Sorry.
Oh, well, it sounded like you're running a marathon there, guy.
No, it's just my headset. My bad.
Okay. Well, you two have fairly easy games this weekend, I think. I'm worried about my game because there's always the potential that on the road. I think Florida has more talent than old piss, but they're at home, new coach. We got no film on what he wants to do with himself. And they've got some players. I mean, Old Miss is not talentless. So, and I don't know what our team is going to do with respect to that one thing that I've been harping about the whole offseason. Run the ball, as Funny Main would say. Run the ball. I don't know that we can do it.
You've got problems with the O-line, and as high as a lot of people are on Lorenzo Lingard transferring in, I mean, he completely decimated his knee when he was at Miami. I mean, tore all three ligaments in it. So there's no telling what he's going to look
like. Well, even without him, the offensive line stayed together from last year to this year. There's that. At least there's continuity there. That's the one thing I'm hanging my hat on. They were playing better throughout the year. They've all come back. And that gives me hope that the continuity will help them. Now, what does our running back core look like? We lost Pirine, who was good. I guess we'll see what happens, really. I mean, that's my main concern. Everyone, Kyle Trash, he's this, he's that, all that nonsense, whatever. I ignore all that. He's a good quarterback. I mean, he's not sunshine. He's not one of these superstar quarterbacks, but he's good at what he does. And we've got a great core receivers, and our defense is, as solid as it always was, I think. A little young in the secondary, but, what can you do? But it still comes down to the offensive line. An offensive line that I always found funny could pass block like crazy last year, couldn't run block. I don't understand that. I mean, is it really that much different, run block versus pass block? I'm asking sincerely. I don't know the answer. I'm not that smart. But if our offensive line shows up, I think we're good. I think if they lay an egg, like they did a lot of times last year, then Ole Miss is going to wrap us up. Yeah, I'll be here I'll be around on Monday to take my medicine.
Miami's offensive line was the exact opposite. It could run block, but it couldn't pass block.
Yeah, I know. I watched the game same as you last year on week 0. I marveled at that point, actually. I said, we blasted through for 10 sacks, but every time you handed the ball off, it's like your offensive line doubled in size or something. I said, how is that possible?
And I know Pete and Lou disagree with me when I said what I have about Florida last year. But I even think that you could objectively look and watch the Miami game, the Kentucky, the Vandy, the Tennessee game. And see, Florida had some legitimate problems, and I don't think was legitimately a top 10 team. They got lucky in several of those games.
Yeah, I'll give you that. They got lucky in the Kentucky game, that's for damn sure. Well, it was bad luck. I mean, for Felipe, I mean, I was, I am not the biggest Felipe Franks fan in the world. I think this is beyond obvious at this point. But I didn't want to see him go down like that, especially with an ankle, because just a couple of years ago, I had recovered from a double fractured ankle surgery, zero weight bearing, the whole mishpucha. That's the whole thing for you non-Yiddish speakers. I didn't want to see him go down like that, but Trask came in and he was better than we thought, and we won the game. And there were a couple of squeakers, and we lost two that I think we were competitive in both of them, and we lost because we couldn't run the ball, and we had some shortcomings. I'm not one of these, and I hate to use the term because I'm really not getting along with the guy right now, but I'm not one of these glitter gators. Not like Lou and his Disney dogs. I'm not one of these guys that sit back and say, "Oh, we won the game. Shut up and stop complaining." I saw the problems. I saw the problems quite clearly, and I was very vocal about them. I still am. So you're not one of those, Miami fans that says, "Oh, we're winning the game, so shut up." I've heard you and seen you talking and typing. You're being honest about the shortcomings of the Hurricanes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no team is perfect.
No,
I mean, I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I don't think any team is, but with Miami, the problem is a lot of what people say. They're stuck in the past, and they think they get a new coach in, and they should be competing for the ACC immediately. And football just doesn't work like
that. Yeah, and I mean, even Lou has said all on many occasions. I mean, even as good as LSU was last year, probably one of the single year greatest teams that ever hiked the football. Their defense was suspect in a few games. Their offense out basically in a couple of games. Their offense outscored their defense. The Florida game comes to mind. I mean, for most of that game, it was back and forth, score for score, and then we burned out because you couldn't run the damn ball. We burned our defense out, and then they won by 14. And there was one other. I think it was it the Auburn game. I think it was the Auburn game.
Yeah,
but
game last year.
Yeah. And that track meet they had with Alabama? There were a couple of games where their defense was just letting shit go, way too easy. So not even the vaunted 2019 LSU team was without their problems. So I see you, Gator Zone. I'll be right there.
Well, as much as Miami fans hype up that 2001 team, there was an interception late in the game that Ed Reed ran back for a touchdown, and without that, they very well could have lost that game.
Yeah.
He was Boston College.
Oh, there he is. He's dressed like Nanook of the North, but there he is. Your microphone's off. Look at him. He's wearing a fleece.
Yeah.
Where the hell are you?
Man.
I forgot where you are.
Oh, I live just south of Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. So it must be cold up there, I guess.
Well, I'm kind of couch sloth today, been out and sick leave.
I'm gonna say Razorback fan. He says that Georgia's overrated.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt, and I'm gonna say that I think Florida's overrated this year.
Why?
Just because there's so much talk about how they're gonna win the East and all this other kind of stuff. It's like I understand that Florida's good, which they are good. I'll give them that. But you guys couldn't beat us for 3 years in a row with our quarterback being Jake Fromm. What makes you think that y'all can beat us this year with a DeJuan Mathis or a JT Daniels?
Having defensive backs, having defensive ends, a more pronounced quarterback play.
I'll give you the quarterback. Yeah, y'all have the better. Y'all will have the better quarterback. I will give you that.
Chess. Okay, the first 2 years of those 3 years were against Franks,
Yes.
and Franks was a disaster.
I mean,
The man's decision making was coming out of his asshole. Okay,
we were
so
4-7 the first year that you want to talk about. So it wasn't like we were beating anybody.
yeah, I mean, you've got Felipe Franks who couldn't make a good quarterback decision to save his life. I mean, just ask Miami. Franks gave him the ball back with 4.5 minutes to go, and all he had to do was sit on the damn thing. You know, that's just stupidity in cleats. Now, the third year, we had different quarterback, but again, and I will keep harping on this, we couldn't run the ball. You can't run the ball, and the defense stacks the box. You know, I mean, we scored 3 points in the first half. I mean,
well, that made
bad.
Yeah, I mean, not being able to run the ball hurt us for sure. But if you remember in the first two, we only had like 4 drives in the first half. I know that's hard to believe, but go back and look at it. Georgia was completely consuming the clock, and we couldn't get out of our own way. I mean, we had so many procedural penalties. We blew 2 timeouts in the first 2 drives. We were in our own way. We were in our own head. And
if
obviously,
we can run,
Georgia capitalized on good field position a lot of the time.
If we can run the ball and control the ball this year better than we did last year, and our quarterback play is as good as or better from this year to last year, from last year to this year, I'm not saying that Florida is going to win the game. I'm not absolutely sure of that. That's why we play the game. But your first 2 years you're talking about were complete blowouts. Any Florida fan with eyes to see and ears to hear knows this.
Yeah.
The third year was a close game,
especially
in the second half. Now, Georgia, this is Uncle Lou saying this as well as me. Your offensive line is suspect. Your wide receivers are freshmen, and you've got they're young, and you've got quarterback issues. Now, by the time we get to the cocktail party, the quarterback issues will most likely be solved, and your receivers have some experience.
Yeah.
The thing that any Florida fan with a brain can tell you is the thing that is the slowest to develop is your O-line. Your O-line is not going to gel by November 7th, at least not to the point where you'd like it to. Now, you've got some beasts running the ball, and that concerns me. But we got a really good defensive front against the run. And and they don't call Florida DBU for shits and giggles. So I'm not worried about our defense against your offense. I'm worried about our offense against a admittedly stacked defense. I think it's going to be, as the old saying goes, diamond cutting diamond. And I still think Florida can pull it out because our quarterback play is going to be better than yours, assuming Trask is still healthy and plays as good last year. This year as he did last year.
Razorback, you have to be the dumbest person I've ever met in my life. Or not met, but seen on this YouTube.
What's he
If
saying?
you really think that Georgia doesn't have as many good quality running backs they usually do, you are fucking retarded.
Hey, Melissa May, click the link and come in here if you want to.
Yeah, for real. Well, come on in here.
Let's get a lady's perspective on all this.
Oh, she's gonna pick. She wants Arkansas to win.
Of course she does. She's an Alabama girl.
I know. I love you, Melissa May. I always will. You know that. But
but apart from Zeke, who does Georgia have again?
Who's that other guy? Shit.
Because I think what we're maybe I don't know, but what I'm thinking that Arkansas Razorback, whatever his name is talking about is
Zamir White.
Think of how loaded Georgia has been for years now in a row. I mean, just reload at running back. They had Todd Gurley, replaced him with Nick Chubb. Sony Michel split time with them. And then you were able to get a couple new backs in there as well. I know Holyfield and who was the other back during that same time, right after Sony Michel and Nick Chubb?
DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, Swift. So
Well,
you had stacked running backs. So maybe he's just saying that your depth isn't there, but it's hard to imagine with the recruiting classes Georgia's pulling in.
I mean, we got Zamir White. I mean, he's went through two blown out ACLs. Okay, I understand that, but you got to think Todd Gurley, when he blew his knee out against Tennessee, he came back the next year and he was average. But then the next year after that, he come out and balled out. Y'all remember? Y'all know.
Yeah,
balled out,
and
I
think 250 yards against us.
I think Zamir White's going to have a balling out year. We also got James Cook. Now, James Cook's a small guy, but he's good to throw the ball, or he's good to throw the ball to out of the backfield.
Yeah,
because he's fast as hell. And then we got Kenny McIntosh. He's a good one. I mean, he's not a really known well running back, but he's pretty good. We got him, and then we got Kendall Milton. He's dude. This dude's a beast. I've seen his highlight tapes. I think he'll be good. So I mean, to say we're not stacked is an understatement. I'm sorry, but we are. And Florida this year, you got to admit this. Florida, the toughest defense they're going to face this year is going to be Georgia, and you got to.
Georgia's the toughest defense in the country.
Oh, our defense,
where anybody can get that crossed up.
Oh yeah, our defense,
number one defense in the entire country.
Yes, it is.
But one of the better offenses you're going to face is Florida.
Oh yeah,
that is equally.
I'm worried. Okay, look, this is what I don't want to happen. Okay, so Arkansas, we're going to set up to win definitely. Tennessee, definite win. But Florida's going to be a tough one. Alabama's going to be a really, really tough one. But I don't want us to get our eye off the ball because look at Auburn. Nobody's talking about Auburn this year. They got Bo Nix as their quarterback. He's done okay. I look now. I've said this, and people's called me crazy. I think Tennessee's going to be a dark horse this year, and I think Tennessee has a real shot. Now you're probably going to laugh at me. Has a real shot at beating Florida this year. I really do. I think that'll be.
I actually will agree with that only because the two reasons for me. The game is in Knoxville, which is, not the easiest place in the world to play.
Mm-hmm.
And a little minor point is the last time we played Tennessee, last game of the season, we lost.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah, I watched that game. That was a heartbreaker.
That up, please.
That was the game I think that caused Spurrier to say, I've had enough.
I don't know the Georgia game against Spurrier. That fucking pit. I mean, he was bad about that game too.
I think Slim could tell you that he sure as hell didn't want to face Florida in that 2001.
Well, Spurrier was getting old at damn South Carolina. It was just time to go. I mean, honestly.
Well, with South Carolina, sure, but that 2001 season, Florida was looking to kill every team they played. Now, would we have beaten Miami? Probably not, but you cannot slip up to Tennessee.
Oh, Miami's was stacked that year.
Absolutely.
I mean,
but it would have been a hell of a game compared to what did play.
I would love to see 2001 Miami versus 2019 LSU. That'd be a fucking amazing game.
And actually, you want to know something that might even be better, and this falls into, my pick for, greatest team not to win a championship was actually Miami's 2000 team. Because you can take the whole 2001 squad. Pretty much they were all there the year before.
Yep.
Minus one or two freshmen that came in, like Sean Taylor was a freshman in 01. But you add guys like Dan Morgan was one of the starting linebackers in 2000. Andre Johnson never saw the field in 2000. That was Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne were your starting wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Adrian James was your starting running back, not Quentin Forden.
Good grief, Adrian James. That's an old name.
Miami was stacked back then. That's for damn sure.
Ridiculous. Now, as far as Florida and Georgia, from an outsider's perspective that doesn't have a horse in that race, obviously Georgia has better defense. Georgia's defense is probably second or third best in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm less concerned about Georgia's offensive line because I look at theirs a lot like I do Clemson, wherein, yes, you have 3 or 4 guys that are technically new starters, but they rotate so many bodies on that offensive line. They all have so much game time, it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think Florida probably – you could say Florida has the edge at quarterback right now. I mean, really and truly, that's going to depend. Really can't say that until we start playing games.
That's true.
Because for one, you don't know who's going to be starting in Georgia, whether it's going to be Mathis or Daniel.
Well, Daniels didn't get cleared for the first week, so it'll be Mathis week 1.
I hope Mathis goes out and balls like no other, because I do not want JT Daniels as our starting quarterback. I do not want Jake Fromm Jr. as our quarterback at all.
But you know Kirby's tendency.
I know, and Kirby needs to stay the fuck away from the offense. Stay with the defense. Let Todd Monken do what he does with the offense. Because
y'all keep clowning Dan Mullen about his coaching abilities, and Kirby Smart he's good. He don't strike me as a genius.
Yeah.
He's not Saban. He's not Sweeney. He's not Urban Meyer.
No.
Much as I hate what he did to us.
That's an elite class. He's better than Rick.
He's beatable.
He's better
not by us at the moment. But
I'll give Rick some credit. He put Georgia back on the map because Georgia in the 90s was fucking terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Golf was fucking awful.
But I do want to remind people, look at the climate back when Mark Rick took over.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the climate that Kirby Smart took over. 2016. You couldn't argue that the SEC is the pinnacle of football. I mean, look at all the millions and millions of dollars they're paying for these coaches. Teams are stacked. We're rotating national champions left and right. What Kirby Smart has done with Georgia in this short time. Now, they weren't as bad as when Rick took over. But he's competed at a very high level year 2 of his coaching career. And that's pretty phenomenal. I mean, regardless of how boneheaded some of the decisions we look at with Justin Fields, with how they handled some of those games against Alabama, all that stuff, you still got to tip your hat to the guy. The guy's a damn good coach.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think any of us can put our fingers on why it's so successful, but he has definitely been able to figure it out.
I love Kirby to death, but he needs to stay away from the offense for God's sakes, this fucking 2012 offense that we're running is not going to work in this time period. You can't fucking run the ball up the middle 20 times a game and fucking throw slants and shit and expect to win a natty. Okay? Yeah. It's not going to happen. You got to have a quarterback that can fucking move the ball, that can run. I mean, Aaron Murray, for example, Aaron Murray, one of the best quarterbacks to play for Georgia. He didn't run a lot, but if he needed to get out of the damn pocket, he could get out of the pocket.
Yeah.
At
least makes the defense respect that option.
And this is something I really disagreed with Lou about. I do think you have to have a mobile quarterback, and you do have to have a pass game. But all that being said, even when Lane Kiffin came into Alabama, Nick Saban still won 5 national titles running the ball in a dominant defense.
Yeah.
I mean, because Tua was the first legitimate quarterback that Alabama had.
Yeah.
What about Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts was more of a runner. I mean, Jalen Hurts is not the best passer. There's plenty of Alabama fans that'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's not taking anything away from him. I like Jalen. He seems like a nice guy, and he's not a bad player. But he's not going to light it up throwing the ball like a Kyler Murray would.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, the quarterback for week 1 is set because, your other guy isn't cleared yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
I'm hoping for Stinson Bennett. I'm hoping for Stinson Bennett. So, Uncle
my gosh,
to Florida.
That would be funny.
Please.
But I think that given Kirby's tendencies, that he's there's an old saying, you are what you are,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, everyone has their tendencies, and no matter how much you try and overthink it, a person is going to be who they are in the end. Kirby is conservative. He's shown me that through his tenure. I've watched. His tenure shows that he's a conservative coach. He's not going to go out there and do a lot of risky things. And for the most part, it served him pretty well. As much as it frustrates Georgia fans, as like Lou or like Chess, who want to see, a little bit more light them up type of offense. I understand. I mean, after Tebow, we suffered through a ton of to call them subpar quarterbacks is being kind. There's a few cases. I mean, Trayon Harris comes to mind. I mean, that wasn't a quarterback. That was a running back with quarterback pads.
Yeah.
But I just have this feeling that JT Daniels is going to be your quarterback past week 1 because that's the kind of quarterback that he seems to be comfortable with. I'm probably wrong when I say that. I may be very wrong when I say that, but I'm just looking at what I've seen and what his options are and what he did with Fields. I mean, he had this choice last year, 2 years ago. He had the choice between Fromm and Fields. He chose Fromm, and Fields went bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, that
and now he's got the same choice again, right? Or a similar choice. He's got a mobile quarterback versus a guy with concrete shoes.
The same thing happened with Alabama, though. They chose. I mean, we were hearing it all off season, all regular season. This guy, Tua, I mean, he's amazing. But all year long, we saw Jalen Hurts. You even heard the grumblings from Alabama fans. Is it time to move on? But, I mean, you go to Natty with Jake Fromm, it's hard to replace that. It's hard to say, okay, well, we're just going to take it off and we're going to put a freshman in. Alabama had to do that. Their back was up against the wall. They down at half against Georgia. They had to go with a new quarterback. So,
and that makes me what it takes to make Kirby do the same thing, get his back against the wall in a situation like that.
Yeah. And the only time would have been LSU, but that game was already well at hand.
Dude, when fucking Joe Burrow threw that pass.
Oh, not that one. I'm talking about the one down in Death Valley.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about, I meant like the SEC title game. As soon as fucking Joe Burrow threw that ball and we deflected and he called it and ran it for first down, I was like, yep, it's over. Might as well not even watch the game. I just want Kirby to stay away from the offense because Todd Monken, he's not going to stay around for 5 or 6 years. He's a 2 or 3 year coach.
But do you think Kirby can do that? I mean, Kirby's
he's going to have to. He's going to have to. I mean, if he
doesn't have to. He's got an ego. He doesn't want to be shown up by his OC.
And I agree with Saleen. Why does he have to? Like, I get where your all's frustrations are, but I mean, if Georgia hangs on against Alabama in the national championship or even in the SEC championship, would you be doubting Georgia's offensive system as much as you guys are?
I'm just tired of seeing the same offense since 2000.
I don't blame you for being tired of it, but this is just my experiences. I grew up in Lexington, and I grew up around Kentucky. In Kentucky basketball, they had Tubby Smith won 30 games a year, and the style of play was about as boring as watching paint dry. But they were winning 30 games a year. Now if you consistently don't perform in the postseason, then that's where you start looking at it and say we need to make some drastic changes. But it's hard to push somebody away when they're winning 11 games a year, running vanilla offenses, protecting their defense. And I don't think it's going to catch up with them. That if you remember, Muschamp did the exact same thing when he came to Florida. He tried to bring a pro style, run it down your throat kind of offense, and then just have an elite defense and win games off that. The only problem with that was once Urban's recruits left, that became an issue. We didn't have the offensive line to be able to run it down people's throats. We didn't have the running backs that were in place. And even when he came in, we didn't have the running backs. We were running, Jeff Dims, Chris Rainey. I mean,
running scat backs.
Yeah. But that's why I'm just saying that I don't think that Kirby, as much as some of the fans want him to change the offense, I don't think he's got the pressure to change it. I mean, they're winning games. They're winning lots of games. And it's not just beating South Carolina and beating the who's who. They're competing at a high level in every game they play. Now, some games they don't come away with the win, and is that strictly on the offense? I don't know. Obviously, in the SEC championship game this past year, it wasn't just your offense. Your defense was getting lined up by one of the best offenses we've ever seen in college football. Mm-hmm. So you can't really blame that per se on your offense.
Well, you see, that's that is what Lou in particular. He's really the only one I've heard rail like that about what you're saying. I mean, they're winning games, they're just not getting to the next level, which is winning the natties. And that's the thing that Lou rails about, what he calls the Disney dogs. We're winning games, shut the fuck up, and pardon the language, but we're winning games.
It's a few plays. It's not like you're walking in that game against Alabama and you're just getting outclassed.
I mean, I haven't seen
a few plays that are causing you guys to lose games.
I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. We beat the ever living shit out of Alabama the last 2 times we played them, and they just barely won. Honestly, we fucking murdered them the whole game.
Yeah.
Tua, when the 2017, Jalen Hurts act like he didn't know what a fucking football was. 2018, Tua couldn't do shit. We're the reason Tua didn't win a Heisman that year because we put his ass in the dirt and they brought in Hurts in, and then Kirby, his conservative ass, made some stupid ass mistakes. I just want one natty. Just give me one fucking natty so I don't want to be in this conversation of all these like Florida has natties, fucking Clemson's got natties. Just want one, man. Just give us one. That's all I
You
ask.
got one.
I want another one in my lifetime, Saleen.
Oh, okay.
But then you
I
won
understand.
2.
Being a frustrated Red Sox
Then
fan,
you
I
won
understand.
3.
I
You
don't.
won
I don't.
4.
Give me fucking 18 in a row, and I'll be happy. That'll never happen, but you know,
That's an honest.
Hard to win 2 in a row.
18 natties in a row.
dude.
Where
We'll be
Blue
happy.
does have a point, though, is, like he likes to bring up about the Vandy game. They come out and run up the score 30-0 by halftime, but then they manage nothing but a field goal in the second half.
Yeah, we can't take our foot off the gas. We got to keep the. I want to blow every team out, and we can. We pull off the gas, and then people come. And then, like Alabama, the 2 years we played them, we pulled out. We had the pedal down in the middle the whole fucking first quarter, second quarter too, and then the third and fourth quarter we eased up. And Alabama, they'll take advantage of anything they can get, and when they look back and win, take for example the Rose Bowl. We should have lost that game. Honestly, we should have lost it.
Probably so.
That was the greatest. I'm not saying it just because my team was in it. That's one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Agree.
That and the 2012 SEC championship game was the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life.
2012 SEC? No, man.
Dude, the 2012 SEC championship game was amazing, and you know it.
No, the Florida-Georgia game was more incredible than that. The fact that Florida was able to hang with Georgia with 5 turnovers in that game.
Well, the 2012
is much more incredible than you guys being able to hang with Alabama, who was reeling from.
Well, that was the first time we've really played Alabama in a long time.
Defensive losses.
I mean, after that game, I lost all faith in Mark Richt. I wanted Mark Richt fired after the game because Mark Richt cost us the fucking game.
Boy, yeah.
That's why
I don't agree with that because you literally came up 3 yards short. And look at what happened. Look at what happened.
And he's not the one that made the throw,
No, but see, if you watch that game back, it's old as fuck now. Aaron Murray goes up and he's doing the spike the ball signal, but then he looks over to the sidelines and Mark Richt changes it, and then they throw it. And I don't blame our wide receiver. If I saw a ball coming at me too, I'd catch it too.
Well, yeah.
I wish he would have dropped it. Honestly, I do. But, that shit's old as fuck. It doesn't really matter anymore. But we should have won a natty then because that year Notre Dame didn't even deserve to even be in a national title game. Jesus, all they had was what? Manti Te'o and his fake dead girlfriend?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And if we would have had a playoff, it would have been Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Notre Dame in the playoff.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Nobody was even close.
Running a coach off isn't always the smartest move. And I can tell you that as a Miami fan that's gone through several coaches, but not just that. Look at Tennessee. Philip Fulmer had one bad year after losing to LSU in the SEC title game.
Yep.
And it was really that Wyoming game that they ran him off over.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with you, but the title game in 2007, that was kind of who nobody wanted to be in that title game. It just, Kentucky was in the hunt, Florida was in the hunt, Georgia was in the hunt, and
the whole country
Tennessee
was off that year. Kansas was number 1 in the country at one point.
The whole thing was a mess.
Dude,
you talk about having that Miami team that had pretty much the same players. Look at Florida's 2017. They pretty much had all the 08 players on that roster, and they lost 3 games that season.
Yeah, including the Michigan, which really pissed me off.
Yeah. But
and I heard Saleen, he said something earlier about kind of Urban Meyer leaving a bad taste in Florida fans' mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what he did while he was there, and let's be honest, he was a right sight better than Ron Zook for him.
Well, damn, Mickey Mouse could have done better than the Zucker. The only reason that Zook is still alive is that he managed to beat Florida State on the day they were christening at Bobby Bowden Field. That's the only reason that Zook left the city alive instead of on a stretcher.
Yeah.
But that was actually the last game I got to go to. We were talking about the Orange Bowl earlier. The 2003 game where Brock Berlin led us back from, 28 down, 21 down?
Yeah.
The last game I got to go to in the Orange Bowl before they tore it down.
That's crazy.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of seeing Clemson in the fucking playoffs every year.
Well, then you're going to have to create a whole new team out of the ACC because ain't nobody in the Atlantic Coast Conference going to compete with Clemson.
Yeah.
God, if Clemson was in the SEC, they would not be making no natties. I tell you that right now.
I think they would a couple of years.
Yeah, they would.
Maybe.
I mean, look at what they've done to Alabama.
They wouldn't have as many, but
Yeah.
they would have a couple.
It
Well,
wouldn't, it wouldn't be a September 1st. We're pretty much locking in Clemson in the.
What I don't
And
get,
Clemson would end up in the East with us.
Yeah.
And Clemson would be in the East with us, so that means that Florida and Georgia wouldn't have as many division or conference titles if Clemson had joined, because they would have put Clemson in the East with us in South Carolina and all that. So, be careful what you wish for sometimes. I mean, I always kid and such Florida State and Miami for not joining the SEC. Especially Florida State wouldn't have won as many ACC titles and natties as they did if they were in the SEC. Right? I clown them all the time, but then I think to myself, if Florida State was in the SEC East, then Florida may not have won a couple of the divisions.
Yeah. Well, you know why that is. You know why those teams aren't in the SEC. Sure, the SEC wants them to be in it. It has to be a unanimous vote. All 14 members have to vote unanimously to add a team in.
Yep.
Do you ever think that South Carolina's going to let Clemson in the SEC?
Hell no.
Do you ever think that Florida would let Florida State in? No way. If you're going to add one, it's got to be outside of the sphere. And you're not going to add another Texas team. You're not going to add another Florida team, the Carolinas. No, you're going to have to add somebody like North Carolina, Virginia Tech, somebody else.
I'd like to add, and y'all think I'm nuts for this, I would like to add Central Florida and kick Missouri out. Missouri got about as much right to be in the SEC as I do to be in the operating room during neurosurgery.
Yeah, well, Missouri, I think at the time, obviously it all comes down to football, but I think at the time Missouri had a good pedigree in basketball.
No,
so that was maybe the.
I want to put
their first 2 years.
I don't know if it was the first 2 years, but they did beat us. Yeah.
I picked them to win the SEC East their first year in the conference. That James Franklin that they had at quarterback, I mean, they were tearing teams up. They looked like they were set to win the SEC East, and I think Georgia won it the first year, but then they won 2 straight after that.
Yeah, but as it sits right now, I want to take Missouri out of the East and replace them with Central Florida. I want to take A&M out of the West and replace them with sorry, and you'll laugh at this one too, Boise. Why not?
I just want to flip Auburn and Missouri. That's an easy ask right there.
I just want Missouri and A&M out because they're worthless.
Who?
A&M and Missouri added to the SEC is worthless to the SEC.
All that money, though, man. A&M brings to the conference. Yeah, I mean that's what the whole thing's about. It's not.
Well, I mean the same thing that they're claiming that Lou is saying that put Florida, Central Florida, in the small 12, and for me, I make the same argument for putting Boise into the SEC. I mean, why not? You're opening up. Yeah, they're in Idaho, so that's not really Southeast. But why not? You're opening up a whole new market. You're opening up Western recruiting, a whole new TV market, a whole new fan base. And A&M ain't getting the job done. So what do you got to lose?
I disagree
Well,
with
that's where
you there.
Lou's absolutely right. That I don't think they'll add any more Florida teams to the SEC.
Yeah, I know. He's right about
Florida
that.
in that market. So, and I mean, how long have Miami tried to restart the rivalry with Florida every year, and it hasn't happened? So I don't think Florida would ever vote Miami.
Yeah,
It's hard to have Miami in there every year when you're playing all those conference games. But
we'll play Miami every year if Miami agrees to go 5 years without an NCAA violation. How about that?
You know what? People keep bringing that up. What has Miami ever been convicted of? Seriously. Nothing.
Shots fired.
Nothing. We have been accused. We're the O.J. Simpson of college football. We've been accused so many times, but never convicted.
No, actually, I would like to see Miami and Florida play more often. I'm not sure if we can work out an every year thing because you have a busy conference schedule and so do we. But I'd like to see it happen more often and restart that rivalry. I mean, we played last year. We don't play again until what, the mid 2020s?
Yeah. 2022, I think.
Okay, so you got to wait another 3 years before we play again. I think that's too long, but it is what it is. I mean, we can't. We've scheduled out both. I think both teams are scheduled out around 2030. So I don't know what you can do about it, but I think the Florida Miami rivalry would be great for college football.
Yeah.
Overall, but there's still the Miami-Florida State rivalry.
In the late 20s, in the late 2020s, we're going to be playing 3 Power 5 teams out of conference each year. I don't know if you've seen that, Saleen. We'll be playing like at Arizona State, playing a home game against Texas, and then playing Florida State to end the season. So we're definitely loading up our schedule. Now, we're not going out and getting World Star teams. We're playing Cal, Arizona State, Texas, and Colorado. But it's definitely improving our schedule.
Let's hope we recruit good.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing this. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Texas could be better than them.
Can you repeat that?
Slim, you got a lot of background noise all of a sudden.
That better?
Yes.
A little better.
I was saying Texas could be, better by then because we all know these teams go in cycles up and down. That's why, I really haven't sweated this period with Miami being down. It happens to everybody.
That's true.
They were on top for how long? You might as well say from 1980 to 2004 or 5, they were still making New Year's Six bowl games.
Well, that's what I keep telling the Georgia boys and girls. I said, nothing lasts forever. I mean, we were on top of the world for a good long time, and look what happened to us, Yeah.
I mean, and Lou's brought it up. You couldn't find an Alabama fan from 94 to, 08?
That's when I was growing up. I don't know if you guys could get that, but that's when I was growing up. So I remember always seeing Alabama's logo around and stuff like that and wondering about Alabama because they would roll in to, back then you didn't get to watch a lot of national games. And they would roll into Commonwealth Stadium. And I kept asking my dad, I'm like, who's this Alabama team? Because they bring a lot of fans. But they had no street cred back then at all in the late 90s and stuff like that. So it's just bizarre to me. And the same thing with Clemson. Clemson's never been to the pinnacle of college football, but they'd always been good for years and years and years. It's crazy how these cycles go. You see teams that are down, like people that are growing up over the last 10 years. can't imagine a lot of people have a lot of respect for Florida and what Florida can do when they get everything in place. And same thing with Miami. You know, somebody grew up in the golden era.
Yeah.
There ain't no way you're going to go to Miami.
With Florida State right now, I mean, how long has it been since we've seen, bad Florida State teams?
Yeah, it's been forever. My lifetime. They've always been good. My whole lifetime.
Yeah, but now they're bad. I mean, they're Tennessee level bad now. I mean, if I didn't hate Florida State as much as I do, I would feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, it's like Lou. I keep bringing that guy up. I don't know why. It's like Lou with the South Carolina fans. He grew up in Augusta. He's on the border. He is surrounded by South Carolina fans. He's got to deal with them. I literally, other than you, Slim Shady, you're the second Miami alum that I've ever met, quote unquote, met. The only other Miami alum I know, God's honest truth, is my family attorney, the lady who handled my post-divorce legal stuff. Really nice lady and smart as hell. But the only two Miami fans I know. I am literally surrounded by Gator fans, and practically all my high school broke down to either Florida Gators or Florida State Seminole.
Yeah.
And I am surrounded by Seminoles, and they are beyond arrogant. Now, they'll probably say the same thing about Gator fans, but they are beyond arrogant. And right now, I am watching them just, I mean, they are turning into 90s Alabama fans. They are scattering and disappearing into the woodwork and finding anything else to talk about besides criminal football.
They got a lot of hobbies nowadays.
Yeah, they got new hobbies. I wouldn't say they're NASCAR fans all of a sudden. That's kind of an Alabama thing, but a lot of them are talking a lot about fishing.
Yeah.
Because I live on the coast, so
going to Home Depot on Saturdays.
Yeah, they're going to Home Depot. They're going fishing. They're going in the middle of the state to go antiquing, or God knows what they're doing. But they ain't talking about Florida State football anymore.
Yeah,
and I am loving it. I am enjoying the hell out of watching, and that's why I'm gonna sit back at 3:30, hopefully after a nice Gator victory to watch. And I'm going to watch Florida State Miami game. I want to see Miami tear some criminal ass up.
Absolutely.
I want you to make Blackman turn Greenman. That's what I want to see. I want to see his uniform turn green.
How you feel about the game, Slim? You don't think there's a dog chance in hell for Florida State to beat y'all?
I want to say that. I do.
What?
I said I really want to say that there's not going to be a chance for them to win.
I don't think they can. I watched that game against the North Avenue Nerds, and now their coach is in quarantine.
Yeah.
They got no quarterback. They can't run. They can't pass block. Their defense has taken major league steps backwards. And you guys got a quarterback this time. I mean, you guys found yourself a QB, and he can chuck it. I don't see how Florida State can win this game.
I've also seen you go back to, what was it, 2013 when Florida State won the national title.
Yeah.
Florida State beat a 7-5 Miami team by 1 point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in games, you can chuck the stat book out the window.
Yeah.
And like I said, just in the history of this rivalry, there are very few blowouts going either way. So,
I'm looking forward to the Florida State Clemson game. I want to see a Roman triumph. I want to see 80 points.
Now, I completely agree. I think we're going to win that game. And I completely agree with what Lou said. If coming off the bye week, we walk away from that Clemson game with, a 14-point loss, or, say Clemson gets a garbage touchdown or something, late in the game to make it 21 or 28, I'll come away from that game feeling very good about Miami.
I think you should already be feeling pretty good about Miami. They're looking good. I mean, obviously inferior talent they're playing against, but they look good. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a Gator fan saying that. I don't have a lot good to say about Miami other than go Canes this week, But
well, this is
I got to admit, I don't want to play Miami this year.
I mean, and admittedly, I'm coming from a jaded perspective of the last 15 or so years. Because the way it turned out, a lot of people have made fun of the ACC over the last few years for letting in Miami and Virginia Tech. But at the time when Miami came in, they were still winning, 10, 11 games and making New Year's Six bowls and being right there for national title.
Yeah.
And, we kind of saw Larry Coker run that bus into the ground.
But yeah, but I mean, part of that is also you were playing in the Big East. If you took Miami out of the ACC right now and put them in the American Conference, they'd be winning every year.
Well, go back to when Miami joined the Big East, and even when they left.
Yeah.
There were some nightmare games as a Miami fan playing Syracuse in the Big East when Donovan McNabb was there.
Yeah.
When Michael Vick was at Virginia Tech. So, I mean, you go back to the 80s, 90s, the Big East was a good football conference and had good teams. Hell, Rutgers was ranked top 15 when we beat them in 2001. Rutgers at one time was a decent team.
Yeah, Rutgers, UConn, South Florida, those teams had they jumped off to really good seasons, but there was no sustained success outside of Virginia Tech and Miami, is what I'm trying to say.
And you could throw Syracuse in there because they've been up and down over the years too.
Yeah, they've been rough in my lifetime, at least my memory of them. And I'm sure when they had Donovan McNabb, they were really nice, but the years I remember Syracuse in '99 Music City Bowl, 6-6 or whatever they were, and that was one of their better years in memory.
Oh.
Well, listen, guys, I had a great time on the stream, but I got to wrap it up because I got to check on the guy upstairs who's painting a room up there, and then I've got to start getting ready to get out of here and do some stuff over at my folks' house. So I'm running out of minutes, so I got to wrap her up. But Slim, I first time I think I've had you on StreamYard. I appreciate you stopping by and coming in.
Yes, sir. Hey, I had fun.
He's got good football IQ. I gotta say, and Gator Zone, your football IQ is, it's solid, better than mine. I can tell you that much. And I see that after a while, Razorback fan number one finally calmed his ass down, or he left, one or the other.
He's just having fun with chess is all he's doing, because he was doing it last night on Carter Street too.
And Melissa May is in there. She's the only mod I've only got 3 mods. She's one of them. She's obviously keeping the rowdies under control. So Melissa May, thank you, much appreciated.
Melissa will go up somebody's head. They decide to start misbehaving around here.
Oh, I do not want to make Melissa May mad at me, especially as I think she's coming to the Slob Olympics. And I do not want her to walk up to me and punch me dead in the face, because she'll do it too. And I bet she hits hard.
Oh yeah.
I see the bet's in the chat, but I think he showed up too late. Anyway, I'm just gonna wrap up. If anyone is still in here and on their way out, if they could click the thumbs up button for me, that's real real appreciative of that. I got 20 out of this stream. That's pretty good. If you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, I definitely appreciate clicking the subscribe button. I finally creeped over 1,600 subscribers, so that's pretty good. Pretty good for a watch channel that dabbles in college sports. If you guys like watches, go watch a few watch videos. Make me feel better.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thanks again, Saleen.
Hey, no problem. All right. And Slim, thank you for stopping by too again. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
I'll see you in the next live stream that whatever we show up at, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, guys. I'm going to click the end broadcast stream. So I appreciate all the folks that were in the chat. Chess Hall, Slim Shady, Gator Zone. Definitely appreciate that. The Bet, glad you showed up. Melissa May, of course, love you. Love you to death. Yes, 2016, whatever. Rowdy Rocker, even Razorback fan number one. Glad you stopped by. Who else stopped by? I missed him in the chat. Let's see. Looking over here on my other screen. Rob F. Glad you were here. Tennessee Mike was here, one of my watch guys, and Dirk Werner was here, and I know Design Atler was here. I didn't get a chance to talk to him very much, but man, Design, Jason, that video you did on the history of the Rolex Submariner, prime stuff. I mean, fantastic stuff. I even sent that over to my watch collector father, and he learned stuff about the sub he didn't know about. So that was a fantastic video. Y'all like watches, you should go find Design Atelier and give him a sub up because he's doing some fantastic work. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. You got any comments or questions, suggestions, just throw them in the comment section down below. If you're not already a sub, don't forget to hit that sub button on the way out. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all's support. And I will see you guys in my next live stream and on one of the live streams that we end up in together. So y'all have a good